again. Don't know where.
Before she asked Ron to destroy the letters, but he never did. And to this day it's been a secret in the family.
Goodbye, and try to understand you'll always be in my thoughts and prayers, my darling. Forever yours, Margaret.
After finding out about a passionate love affair during the war in a friend's family, the topic of love and war captured me. Soldiers leaving their wives for years on end not knowing if they would return, and building new relationships with nurses and torn between life at home and what could have been real love. With so many soldiers to so few nurses, what was a girl to do?
It was a single girl's paradise. There were 600 officers at RAF Comaxa, of which about 200 were single, but say a total of about 75 females, to be shared amongst about 750 rampant males. And so one had to almost have one booking to take a girl out. And I can remember on one occasion calling at the hospital to take my wife out to the officers' mess, take her out for the evening, to find that one of her other boyfriends was already there because she double booked that night. So, as I say, it was a single girl's paradise.
We had a good time as single girls in the WRAF. The men there was lots and lots and lots of men, different regiments. It was difficult for us to stay in because we were always being invited to parties. But it was all, just fun. There was one or two found out they were going out with married men, and that was, we dropped them. There was enough single men, we didn't need to go out with married men.
But what did happen if you fell for a married man? This was the problem Margaret, a nurse in Aden, was faced with when she met Ron. Here, Jenny tells the story of how she stumbled upon hundreds of love letters belonging to Ron, her father-in-law, revealing the family secret that had been hidden for more than a decade.
Very difficult to read these letters, very small, neat writing. And it turned out that during the years he was in Aden, during the war, he had an affair with a nurse who was also there. And I was intrigued when I read the letters. They were obviously very much in love.
It's impossible to write or say all I think, and especially trying to tell anyone you love them on a bit of paper. It seems so stupid. As you said tonight, words are useless.
When I read these letters, he was a different person, because to me he was never very warm. Margaret knew about Betty, but I decided not to tell Betty. She was getting on in years, and I don't think it would have been fair, because Ron obviously decided to stay with Betty and his child, my husband. And in one of the letters she did say her parents told her to break off their relationship.
I won't beat about the bush. This is not a letter of good tidings. I had letters from Mummy and Daddy yesterday in answer to mine of the 28th of March, in which I had written about you. They are terribly hurt and worried, and Mummy has asked me I have nothing more to do with you. So Ron, this is my goodbye.
She asked Ron to destroy the letters, but he never did. And to this day it's been a secret in the family.
Goodbye, and try to understand you'll always be in my thoughts and prayers, my darling. Forever yours, Margaret.
Having also found out from reading the letters that Ron and Margaret had very little time together in Aden, working different shifts, it made me think, where would young couples in Aden go on dates? We have all number of places to go nowadays, but Aden wasn't a very big or safe city during the war.
I could count on probably 3 or 4 hands the number of occasions when we were able to go out on our own instead of in a group, because there weren't that number of places to go to other than restaurants, or for me to take her to the officers' mess at RAF Comaxa, where I was based, or for me to go to her hospital mess. And that was probably the most difficult thing about Aden, I think, is trying to have a sort of courtship or to create a relationship with someone. You had to almost do it in public.
If you wanted to be on your own, we'd just go down on the beach. So we would just go off somewhere quietly to be on our own and just sit and talk. And bear in mind we had to be in for 12 anyway, so we were watching. That was a killer of any romance. having to be in at 12 o'clock. We had the club, the Aden club, down at down in the steam, and they all used to come. And this is how we met them. We had one weekend where the Americans came in as well, and that was not very. And I happened to be on duty, and all I saw was a leg with white trousers on. And I knew it wasn't one of us because we didn't wear trousers in those days, and I sort of went up and I said to this leg, "What do you think you're doing?" And there was an American voice. He said, "I'm told there's some bitches here." And I just looked up and I said, "This is not a dog's home." He yanked his leg down. I think I hurt him. But he didn't come back again.
So, at the end of my quest, I found out what it was like to be a nurse involved with a married man, and that it would usually end in heartache and never seeing each other again. But also what fun it must have been to be a single nurse in Aden. And I also nearly got a date myself.
He wants to know about
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to chat her up then, you see.
But she wasn't inter-service, I'm talking about inter-services.
I'm not bothered about it, I was just chatting her up,
You see how all this banter we have,
It's terrible, it is.
The civilian population, they're a bit sort of taken aback when they hear.
They are.
Yeah, but I say to them, you get used to it.
To the folks that I know, tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know